Knockout. Lights out. First up, the knockout. We call it a KO for short. This is what everyone thinks of when they hear UFC finish. A knockout happens when a fighter gets hit so hard they lose consciousness instantly. Their brain basically shuts off for a moment. The knockout usually comes from a clean strike to the head. The brain gets rattled inside the skull. Sometimes it's a punch, sometimes it's a kick, sometimes it's a knee, but the result is always the same. Instant lights out. When you see a true knockout, there's no question about it. The fighter is completely out cold. They might not even remember what happened. That's the power of a perfect knockout strike. Technical knockout. The referee steps in. Now let's talk about technical knockouts. We shorten this to TKO. This is where things get interesting. A TKO happens when a fighter is still awake but can't defend themselves anymore. Think of it like this. The fighter is conscious but completely helpless. Here's a common scenario. Fighter A is landing punch after punch. Fighter B is just covering up, taking damage. They're not fighting back. They're not moving. They're just surviving. The referee sees this happening. He realizes Fighter B is in serious danger, so he jumps in and stops the fight. Fighter B never went unconscious, but they couldn't continue safely. TKOs can happen in different ways. Sometimes a fighter gets rocked by a big shot. They're wobbly on their feet. The opponent swarms them with more strikes. The referee has seen enough. Other times a fighter gets hurt badly. Maybe their leg gets damaged from kicks. Maybe they're bleeding too much. They want to continue, but they physically can't. The doctor's decision. Here's something most fans don't know. UFC doctors can also stop fights. They're watching every second for serious injuries. Imagine a fighter gets a deep cut above their eye. Blood is pouring down their face. They can't see properly. The doctor examines them between rounds. If the cut is too dangerous, the doctor stops the fight. This also counts as a TKO. The injured fighter doesn't want to quit, but the doctor makes the call for their safety. Sometimes fighters argue with this decision, but doctors always have the final say. Submission. The art of giving up. Now we move to submissions. This is where technique beats pure violence. Submissions are like chess moves with your body. A submission happens when one fighter forces the other to give up. They do this by applying a choke or attacking a joint. It's all about leverage and technique. There are two ways a submission can end a fight. The most common way is tapping out. When a fighter feels the submission getting tight, they tap their opponent or the mat. This signals they're giving up. Fighter A wraps their arm around Fighter B's neck. The choke gets tighter and tighter. Fighter B realizes they're about to go unconscious, so they tap out. The fight ends immediately. But what if a fighter doesn't tap? Then they go to sleep. Literally. A tight choke cuts off blood flow to the brain. The fighter passes out within seconds. The referee sees this and stops the fight. The beauty of submissions. Submissions are beautiful to watch when you understand them. It's pure technique. A smaller fighter can submit a much larger opponent. Size doesn't matter if you know the right moves. Some submissions attack the neck with chokes. Others attack joints like arms, legs, or shoulders. The goal is always the same. Decision. When judges decide. Not every fight ends with a finish. Sometimes both fighters go the full distance. When this happens, judges decide the winner based on points. Each round gets scored separately. Judges look for effective striking, grappling, aggression, and octagon control. The fighter who wins more rounds wins the fight. A unanimous decision means all three judges picked the same winner. It's like three friends all agreeing on the same movie. Everyone saw the fight the same way. A mock split decision is more controversial. Two judges pick one fighter, the third judge picks the other fighter. The majority wins, but it was close. Split decisions always create drama. Fans argue for hours afterward. Fighters sometimes demand rematches. Social media explodes with debates. Disqualification, breaking the rules. Sometimes fighters break the rules so badly they lose automatically. This is called a disqualification or DQ. DQs can happen from repeated rule violations. Maybe a fighter keeps grabbing the fence. The referee warns them multiple times, but they keep doing it. Eventually, the referee has had enough. Some fouls can cause immediate disqualification. Intentional eye pokes are extremely dangerous. Kicks to a grounded opponent's head are illegal. Strikes to the back of the head can cause permanent damage. Here's what many people don't realize. Grabbing shorts or gloves is also illegal. It gives an unfair advantage. Do it repeatedly, and you might get disqualified. The rare draw. Draws in UFC are like finding a four-leaf clover. They almost never happen. But when they do, nobody's happy about it. A draw occurs when the judges can't determine a clear winner. Maybe one judge scores for fighter A, another judge scores for fighter B. The third judge calls it even. Let me give you an example. Imagine you and your best friend are sparring. Round 1 goes to you. Round 2 goes to your friend. Round 3 is so close that nobody can tell who won. The result? A draw. Most fans hate draws. Fighters hate them too. Everyone wants a decisive winner. But sometimes fights are just that evenly matched. No contest. The fight that never happened. The strangest result in UFC is a no contest. This means the fight gets erased from history. Both fighters' records stay exactly the same. No contests usually happen because of accidental fouls. Two fighters are going hard. One accidentally pokes the other's eye. The injury is so severe, the fight can't continue. But since it was clearly accidental, nobody gets blamed. The fight becomes a no contest. It's like it never happened. The drug test disaster. Failed drug tests can also cause no contests. This is where things get really messy. Remember John Jones versus Daniel Cormier in 2016? That fight had everything. Two elite fighters, months of buildup, millions of viewers ready to watch. Then John Jones failed his drug test. USADA found banned substances in his system. The fight result got overturned to a no contest. Years of trash talk, months of preparation, all wasted. This is why UFC takes drug testing so seriously. Clean competition is everything. Cheaters ruin the sport for everyone. Why this all matters. Understanding these different finishes makes watching UFC way more enjoyable. You'll know why crowds react differently to each type of ending. You'll understand the skill required for different finishes. Knockouts get the biggest reactions because they're so definitive. Submissions impress hardcore fans because of the technique involved. Decisions can be controversial, but show which fighter is better overall. The unpredictable Octagon. Here's the beautiful thing about UFC. Any of these endings can happen at any moment. A boring fight can explode into violence in seconds. A dominant performance can end with one perfect submission. That's what makes every fight exciting. You never know how it's going to end. Will it be a brutal knockout, a technical submission, a controversialis dontes, or something completely unexpected? Your UFC education continues. Now you know every possible way a UFC fight can end. Next time you're watching with friends, you'll be the expert. Don't forget to subscribe the channel for upcoming videos, and do let us know what next video topic you want to see about UFC.